I hope you can actually hear the crunch in it. It's super crunchy on the outside and it is super soft on the inside. Hi everybody and welcome back to Jaffa Cooks. And today is a different day today. So today I was planning to do something else, but then I got a DM from Danielle who wanted a special request. Now I don't normally get special requests. I get the odd question, but today there's a request that Danielle put. He's got a couple of friends coming over in a couple of weeks' time, and he started to make his onion bhaji or pakora that we call, and it's not coming out as he'd tasted when they invited him over. So he's asked me, how do I make mine? So I dug deep into my mum's old cookbook and came up with her recipe. I don't usually make pakoras, but I'm going to try hers out. I've tried it 3 times and they come out really well. So here goes. So today I'm going to make an onion and potato and spinach pakora. This is one of my favorites when Mum used to make them. So all the ingredients are here. There is a variety of ingredients, and I'll take you through the pace of how to create this delicacy, I'm going to call it, because it really is delicately made and it tastes divine. So without further ado, let's get cooking. All right, so before we start, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, do so. Send me a message, give me a thumbs up, share all my recipes with your friends, and try them out. Do honestly try them out, and if they turn out well for you, give me a thumbs up. Okay, so all the ingredients are in the description below. So I'm going to take you through the important parts, and that is basically how to get the consistency right, and also to get the spices right. So you'll see that I've got some fresh coriander here, but I've also got some dried coriander as well. I've got some cumin, I've got some other herbs and spices. So the important part really, I had some whole coriander and whole zira, which is cumin seeds. And I roasted them off, and just as they were roasting off, to the point where they don't burn, I've taken them off and grounded them in a pestle mortar so that the oils and aromas are released as well. And that is really key, and that really gives it the flavor and the taste and the smell. So I've got ground flour, which is basic, the binding ingredient for the pakora. I've got some potatoes sliced like matchsticks. I've got some onions and some spinach as well. So before we start, just get the dry ingredients, and we're going to mix the dry ingredients first. And the dry ingredients are really critical, because if you can put the dry ingredients together, that'll stop them from clunking up. You won't find those horrible forms of chilli or any other dry ingredient. And those who follow me always know that I use my hands. I try to get into a more technological way of using gadgets, but even a spatula doesn't really cut the mustard. So in this case, I'm going to use my hands again as usual. Right, so I've got some cold water and I've got some carbonated water. Now, I never understood the combination of this until I spoke to my mum. Why does she use 2 different types of water? And one was to basically make the dough, or shall we say the batter mix, and the other one was to actually create bubbles inside the mixture itself. Never understood that until one day she said, how do you think you get the crunchiness? Light bulb moment. Okay, so that's basically what one of the tips is. I'm going to now, and also, sorry, before I forget, ground flour and flour, they come from different origins, and they do react differently to the amounts of water you put in. So I'm going to show you what consistency instead of telling you how much. So here I have around about 150 ml of cold water, but I'm not going to use all of it. I'll show you what consistency we need to stop at, and then go to use the carbonated water and how much to give it that airiness and the bubbles. Okay, so I'm just going to pour about 50 ml in there. Just going to really mix that in. And basically, at this point, we just want the mixture to become like a paste. Going to pour in a bit more. So it's now coming together. It's becoming a paste. And again, we just want to make that thick paste, because that paste is basically the indication when to stop or when to add a bit more. So this is what the consistency should look like a fudge brownie batter. So It's thick, but it rolls off very slowly off your fingers. Now, this is where I'll take my carbonated water and round about, I'd say about 100, I'll start off with 100 ml. And the thing is, we don't want to disturb too much of the bubbles. So I'm just going to pour a little bit first and then just bind that in, mix in a little bit more, and then I'll finally add some more, just a tad bit more water, just to add a bit more bubbles in it. So the batter now looks more like a pancake batter. It's quite runny. It's runny, not very runny, but runny enough to hold the other ingredients, which is the potato, onions, and the spinach as well. So what I'm going to do now is introduce some oil, and this is just general cooking oil, vegetable oil. Going to add the potatoes. Add the spinach, coriander, and finally chilies. Now, chili content, do taste the chilies. I've left the seeds in. If you're not a great fan of chilies, do remove them. But Daniel, if you're cooking for an Asian family, most probably they do like their chilies. I'm sure you'd already know. If you've attended one of their dinners or you're invited round, if you remember how hot their dishes were, then make it according to that then. So just got to mix this in slowly, not disturbing too much of the bubbles. Right, my mixture's done. Just to show you, it's only lightly coated the vegetables. And the reason why we do that is so that when we fry the pakora off, it then becomes really, really crispy. So you'll find that I didn't put too much batter in there or too much ground flour. So just to give you an indication, if I was going to take a spoonful, it'll probably be around about that much, and I'll fry that much off. And then as it hits the oil, those bits that are sticking out, they'll start crisping up, and that basically is why we don't use too much batter. Okay, so let me take you over to the frying pan, and then we'll start frying these off, and then we'll see what they turn out to be. Okay, welcome back. So my temperature for my oil is around about 170 degrees, and what I've done is I've spooned just about, I'd say just a bit over 1 spoon of mixture, and I'm just going to pop that in very slowly without disturbing it too much. Now, as we see them browning off slightly on one edge, turn them over, and only turn the ones that are where you can see the edges going brown slightly. And the little you touch them, the better that is. So I've taken a few of them out. They look as if they're cooked. And I'll carry on the process until the end. But what you will see is they're nice and crunchy and they're fully cooked. So I'll show you them what they look like towards the end. Okay, so welcome back. And this is my pakora nest. I'm going to call it a nest because it actually looks like a nest. And if you look at it, it just looks rough and ready. But let me just taste this. I hope you can actually hear the crunch in it. It's super crunchy on the outside, and it is super soft on the inside. Daniel, if you make this, I guarantee you they'll be asking for the recipe. Check out my mint sauce and the mint chutney. They go excellent with the pakoras. Do give it a go. Let me know how it went. Enjoy.